Hello and welcome back to Unreal 2 The Awakening. Alright, so let's okay, let's go back to the Atlantis after Sanctuary. And some things I wanted to point out. In the last episode, where we had to go through the marsh and defend the place with the Marines, interestingly enough, the Marines themselves are actually completely invincible. So as long as you yourself stay out of the harm's way, everything is fine. So that's a pro tip for that. Also, right, there's something I wanted to show here. Okay, so we're going to hell, apparently. And everyone else is down there. Well, first of all, let's go into our own cabin and relax for a bit. There are things, there's a spare armor, we're flying through space. The things flying through space there are probably not supposed to be stars, but rather space debris or something like that. Cosmic dust. Because there's absolutely no way it's possible to fly that fast. Even warp speeds are not that fast. And as far as I know, in the Unreal universe, there might not even be faster than light travel, because they use jump gates for that instead. Anyway, nothing new here, but you can see that we have more pictures. So this is Avalon, this is Sanctuary proper, Lima 6, and this is the marsh. And also, nice discs. Record Data X48. It's pretty interesting because, I mean, in 2002, I suppose... Wow, the disc is actually inserted, that's pretty nice. I suppose at that point discs were pretty popular, but I mean even at that point they could have foreseen that the discs would become obsolete pretty quickly and replaced by USB drives and SD and micro SD cards instead. But hey. Yeah, so everything else I think is not changed. Now there's nothing here anymore. The secret there is still there. The smoke is still there. And I don't think anything changed here. It doesn't look like it. Nothing there. And Dida's cabin is still the same. Okay. Right, so let's go talk to the people here. Actually, wait. Let's go to the cargo bay first. So, there's nothing here, but if you look there, the Peacekeeper is down there. So we did not lose it in the marsh. Good. I'm not sure when they managed to collect it, but actually one thing I think will be explained in the game itself is that it's not Dalton that's flying the ship itself. is actually Nibhana, controlling it from afar. And that's what Dalton meant when he congratulated Nibhana. That it's a nice piece of flying. It's flying for both the ship here and the shuttle, I think. Anyway, let's go get the briefing for the weapons.
Hey, boss.
Hi.
Ready for the loadout?
Still working on it. Why don't you get your briefing from Ida first?
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And now we have more weapons here. We have the shock lance, we have the shotgun, and the 3 standard weapons. Nothing interesting there. And yeah, he's studying the shock lance, looks like. Also, he's doing smoke rings. That's pretty neat, I suppose. Anyway, what we have here is the artifact. That's one thing I don't really get. The Marines went to Sanctuary to retrieve the artifact after Ida alerted them to the fact that the Scar were looking for it. And I get that we would have the artifact on the Atlantis until they dock with the Marine ship. But why do we still have it here? Shouldn't the Marines have taken it? That is weird. Well, anyway, let's go talk to Ida. Speaking of which, there are more images there, but I guess she will display the images later on. Also, the button, secret button here is still there. You can use it at any time. Well, let's start the briefing, I suppose. Unless she wants to go and show those pictures. That's a nice console window. I suppose not. Okay, there we go. So that's our next mission. Okay. So
ready for the briefing?
Let's get the briefing. Yes.
Let's do it.
We are approaching Hell, a frozen moon orbiting the planet Gigan, a gas giant in the ISO star system. Elysium is an Axon Corporation research facility on Hell that works closely with the TCA, the organization we also proudly serve. Commander Hawkins says there have been no transmissions from the station for 18 hours. Our mission is to find out why. The base has 4 research modules located around a central hub. Each of the labs focuses on a different area of weapons research. Here's a look at the surrounding terrain. You'll set down here. This bridge leads into the base. By the way, the commander mentioned the researchers are working on an artifact that sounds a lot like the one we recovered from Sanctuary. You don't suppose they could be related, do you?
Probably not.
That's it. Isaac should have your weapons ready. God knows he's had enough time.
Okay. So, looks like we are in fact going to hell, and that's not just a joke. Alrighty then. Huh. Okay, you can actually already start the mission. Yeah, the Peacekeeper is stored under just so that you couldn't start the mission before listening to the briefing. Anyway, let's get the weapons data.
Got more gear for you. Turns
Alright.
out that energy rifle you nabbed from the Azarians had a limiter on it. Maybe the Scar didn't want to give anything too powerful to their slaves. Anyway, I took the limiter off, and now it's a real weapon. I call it the Shock Lance. The alt-fire is an EMP burst that'll fry anything electronic. I've also loaded up the shotgun you found on Sanctuary and scrounged some toxic grenades for your launcher. You want to take a closer look?
Yep.
Let's see what you got.
I modified one of the Azarian energy rifles to make it more powerful. Primary fire generates 2 plasma bolts that don't do much damage, but the refire rate is high, which lets you put a lot of hits on a target in a short amount of time. Alt-fire creates an EMP field that will seriously screw up any machinery it hits. Take your pick.
Yep. So yes, the shock lance is very useful against electronics, and not useful against pretty much anything else. Which is why we took pretty much no damage from Azarians. And also, it had a limiter on, so this version is a bit more powerful. So let's see the shotgun.
Show me the crowd pleaser.
This is an M700 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun. Absolutely lethal close-up and pretty damn good at mid-range. The alt-fire puts out explosive incendiary slugs with a wider spread and a more limited range. Anything else?
Yeah, so the shotgun is my favorite weapon in XMP and Unreal Tournament. But somehow in this game I don't often use it because I approach things a bit more cautiously, and so it's not that useful since the range is usually too long. But still, it's a pretty good weapon. Alright, so see the toxic grenade then.
What about the gas grenade?
It sprays out a cloud of neurotoxic gas that is so caustic it eats right through metal armor. What'll it be?
Yeah, so the toxic grenade is just an area of effect grenade. Not really that useful in this game, I don't think. In XMP it can be sometimes quite useful, but otherwise, yeah, not so much. And of course, I'll talk about XMP once we get to it.
Some other time.
But yeah, so that's all the weapons that we got. Alright, what else? Well, I still want to show some interesting tidbits on the Atlantis itself. So first of all, let's talk to Nibhana. Hi Nibhana, how's it going?
Many pardons, but could we talk later?
No, I want to talk to you now.
Old Hex Core saying, talk to pilot, go splat.
Why saying?
So sorry, but this is not a good time. Dodging asteroids takes much concentration.
Yeah, so those things could possibly be asteroids too.
Excusing me kindly, but not now. I am flying, and time is flying. Your language is most curious. Have your people call my people. We'll be lunch.
I don't think we would like to do that.
Stars are pretty. Hitting them is not.
True.
Sorry, Captain. I am occupied territory. Perhaps some other time.
Alright, so that's all the nice things that Nibhana has to say. Okay, so let's prepare to go on the mission. But while he is preparing, let's show some interesting things. So if I restart, there's one thing you can do. That's pretty funny. Do you see Atlantis? It's Nibhana! No, stay away! Nibhana will try to get to you and speak to you, even if you leave the bridge. Even if you go here, Nibhana will follow. Complete with navigating paths. No, stay away. Uh-oh. And he will even drop down the ladder just to talk to you. Even if you go here, he will still try to pursue you and talk to you. So this thing you can actually do even in the very first Atlantis mission, where Ida stands there at the console and tries to speak to you. You can run away around and then leave, and she'll still try to follow you. Alright, let's lure Nibhana to the side first. Once he's sufficiently close, I can try and avoid him by going around. And he will continue to pursue me. If I go back up the ladder, Nibhana will still try to get to me. If I go to the side, he'll continue walking. Also nice dynamic shadows. And once he reaches this place, he will just stop and look at me. Because he can't climb ladders. And if you finally... Oh. Huh? Huh, that's interesting. I never actually saw him do that. And if you actually go...
Greetings, Marshal.
Do that, you can actually do everything here.
Great piece of flying back there.
It is a pleasure to serving.
Docking with the marine ship looked tricky too.
A maneuver I have practicing many times. It was an honor to reunite those men with their fighting unit.
Yeah. And of course you can just leave. And then also resume talking.
Do you have a course plotted?
Yes. A place called Hell. At least, Ida told me to go to Hell, so that is my plan.
Alright. And after a while, if you don't speak to him, he will simply go back upstairs. Also, sometimes this happens. You ask something and you're out of range, so nothing happens. And yeah, Nibhana got back up to the bridge. So that's just some interesting thing that I want to show. And there was something else. Well, maybe I'll remember later. So I guess for now let's go back to this and start the mission. So the mission is... Well, actually wait, I need to get the short version.
Still here?
No, actually there's a lot of things to ask. Isaac.
Why don't you let up on Isaac?
Why should I? He killed 3 of my friends. He's a danger to this ship, and the sooner I can convince you to kick him off, the safer we'll all be.
Yeah, so there's some history with Isaac, and we'll get to know about it a bit later. Alright, so let's get that summary.
What's the short form?
Find out why the research facility has gone radio silent. You can take another look at the holograms if you'd like.
Alright, and more planetary info.
What else can you tell me about Hell?
Geigen is a gas giant planet, about 11 times the diameter of Earth. Hell is one of its 14 moons. Hell's surface is mostly rock covered by spires of ice and slush. The atmosphere is nitrogen and methane, along with complex compounds like ethane, hydrogen cyanide, and others. Thermal vents spew this poison into the thick, soupy sky, and it falls back to the surface as toxic chemical snow. Temperatures average around 250 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Delightful.
Yep.
See you later.
So, Hell is called Hell because it's not very friendly. And as Ida mentioned here, let's highlight things. This research facility is, well, it was built by Axon Research Corporation, and they apparently had an artifact in it. Axon Research Corporation is actually an ally with the Terran Colonial Authority, as we'll hear after this mission. Also, it's interesting to note in the last mission how there was that point where Dalton said that there's not going to be a dropship, and then the Marine was like, what? And Dalton was like, did you not hear me? And he was like, no sir, sorry sir. So that's something that I think is a bit, well, strengthening my idea that the Terran Colonial Authority is actually the military police. Because the military police technically has authority over the other types of military, because they police them. Among other things, of course. So that's why the Marines were technically, although not in operations, inferior to Dalton. Anyway, so let's start the mission.